story been told so often. So he urges Shukdev Maharaj, that Bhagwan that I didn't even know. Of course, as a jiva, we have our relationship with Bhagwan from the beginning. And the embodied form we forget. And so he says that I didn't even know. Bhagwan is strong enough that if with just his chakra or with just his gada, he could block the Brahmastra. But out of his love for me, he brought both, the gada and the chakra, ready to fight or block this Brahmastra from hurting me within my mother's womb. And this Bhagwan who has so much compassion, I want to know more about him. And in the beginning, when we saw that the rishis gathered in the forest were having satsang, and Sutta Maharaj was teaching the Bhagavatam, there they had asked 9 questions. And part of the 9 questions were all the different avatars of Bhagwan, but mainly tell us in detail about Krishna avatar, was very specifically asked from those bhaktas. And so if you see the Bhagavatam, every canto has between 10 to 30, maximum 40 chapters, right? So every canto has separate chapters. And in the 9th canto, only 1 chapter is Ramayana. And there's so many other stories of all the different kings. And then you get to canto 10, and it's got 93 chapters. Like, Shukdev Maharaj really took very seriously what they said about tell us in detail, especially Krishna avatar. Because Purna avatar. And Krishna stayed back as the Bhagavatam itself. And so naturally, it will emphasize his glories and his leelas. And some will say, because they are the most fascinating. But whoever is our Ishta Devata, we will find the most fascinating. But this much can definitely be said. Nobody is not fascinated by Krishna's avatar. He is indeed extremely enchanting. And so we saw the dynasty of all these kings from the Raghuvamshi. And then at some point it changed to the Chandravamshi. And then at some point it changed again. And it would have been 2 brothers, or it would have been the lineage has only daughters, and then somebody else came along. And Bhagavatam follows lineage. And so we see the Varnishi lineage. Am I saying it right? Varshini lineage, where Vasudeva Maharaj is born, has many, many great kings. Yeah. And also, King Udrasen comes from a lineage of many, many great kings. From Ugrasen is born Devaki and Kamsa. Devaki has done immense tapas in her previous birth. Right? Extremely, extremely purified. And Vasudeva also was Manu in a previous birth. Devaki was Shatarupa in a previous cycle of creation. And as Manu and Shatarupa, they have so much responsibilities. And sometimes even we, after doing so much work, we just want to chill for a bit. And so their chilling is, you come as our kid, then we can chill and you do everything. But in this case, their chilling was a bit uncomfortable. So as the story goes, most of you know the story. I will still do it in little bit detail, not elaborate detail, little bit detail. Kamsa was generally very horrid. We don't need to elaborate the horridness of his character. Enough to know that he was selfish and hurtful and spiteful. But no matter how selfish we are, all of us will love one person, at least, minimum. Because we cannot live without loving. I mean, actually said in the scriptures, if we didn't love at least one person, we'd die. Yeah. And then of course all of us love ourselves a lot. But that doesn't count. Because this love for ourselves that we have is loving unreal. I mean, even other person's unreal, but at least it's not so selfish. Although then we make that also selfish, because we love them only because they're making me happy, or they're making me look good, or they are making my life easy, or then... But if there isn't any genuine love in our heart, like zero, then we would die. 1% has to be there at least. So Kamsa had 1%. Maybe 3-4%, but not much. And it was for Devaki. Yeah. It will be for one person. Yeah. And who that person is also random. Like sometimes you didn't expect that you even like this person, but then you love them so much. Yeah. Because love is inexplicable. It doesn't follow reason. If love followed reason, problem. Because there's lots of reasons not to love. Especially since we are thinking from a selfish ego point of view. Yeah. And Bhagwan's nature is love. And so nature doesn't need reason. So he loved Devaki. And Devaki was going to get married. And marriage is such a happy occasion. And so he was suddenly transformed into a nice person. At the banquet party, he's asking, have you eaten? Can I get you something? Like, this is not Kamsa behavior at all. Usually Kamsa's behavior is, you are eating, I'll take it. But suddenly when there's love in our heart, we become nice. And when we forget the love in our heart, Kamsa behavior. So he decides he's going to drive the chariot. As he is driving, the wedding is over, he's driving Vasudeva and Devaki back. Akashvani booms through the sky. Why? Because until our karma is over, we cannot die. And Kamsa still had a lot of karma. And if we had to live to see all his karma, Mother Earth was already suffering too much. Mother Earth had already gone in the form of a cow to Vaikunth and told Bhagwan, I cannot bear any more. Please, you have to come and help me. And so, Bhagwan has to fast track Kamsa's karmas so that Mother Earth can get relief from the suffering that she is feeling. And if he is so happily helping Devaki and serving people in the wedding, then this is good karma. Bad karma is not getting fast-tracked. And so Akashvani booms from the sky, Kamsa, you fool. It's better without the mic. It's the favorite bit of the story, calling people a fool. Kamsa, you fool. The eighth child of Devaki and Vasudeva will be your death. And we all scared of our death, and of course Kamsa didn't want to die because he still wanted to enjoy so many things, and so immediately he pulls Devaki by her hair, pulls her off the chariot, pulls out his sword, and is about to kill her. But Vasudeva's character is so noble that he, on that moment, thinks how to save her and says, I will give you every child. On the spot, if you have to think. He thought pretty fast. It's not her that's going to harm you. It's the children, right? I'll give you the child. Leave her. Because we'll think of that problem when that problem comes. But right now, have to save his wife. Duty of husband. Or just normal, decent human being. And Vasudeva's character is so noble that even someone like Kamsa believes him. A noble person believes another noble person good, no. But when someone who is wretched believes you, means you're really good. Because usually, I remember there's this story, two families had gone on holiday somewhere, and so the kids met on the beach while they were playing with each other, made friends because kids are good that way. And then he had a collection of marbles. Yeah. And she had collected so much candy from Halloween parties. And so every day they would play with the marbles and they would eat some of the candy. And so she shared and he shared, and then kids on a family, and then it was time for them both to go home. And so on the last day at the beach, they said, you know, your marbles are so nice. I don't even knew how to play them before. It would be so nice if I had them. And so he said, I'll get my parents to buy me new marbles. And so he said, I'll give you my marbles if you give me all the rest of your candy. And then she said, oh, that's an amazing deal. So she runs off to her room and he runs off to his room, and he takes all the marbles out and he thinks, but these two are really rare ones. They're harder to find and they're better than the other two. So he puts those two away. And he brings the rest to her. She runs up, grabs the packet, brings it down. Change. And the whole flight home, he's thinking, I wonder which ones she took out. And she's happily thinking, I got these cool marbles. We think of other people the way we actually think. And so for Kamsa to trust Vasudeva, Vasudeva's character has to be exceptional. And Vasudeva's character does have to be exceptional to be father of, and so does Devaki Ma's character has to be exceptional. So they have their first child, and true to his word, Vasudeva brings it. And Kamsa, when you see a baby, how? Every instinct in you will be to protect, even if it's not your baby, right? That's how King Bharat protected that deer also. It's just instinct. You see baby, protect. So Kamsa lets the baby go. But now this doesn't fast-track karmas. So Narad Muni Ji comes. He gets called troublemaker, but actually he's doing Bhagwan's work only. Because Mother Earth is in pain. We need to fast-track and give her relief. And so Narad Ji says, how you know which is the eighth child? And you all know, right? how he did the counting with the circle and then everyone knows? Very good. No, you don't know? Okay, never mind, I'll tell you later. He put matchsticks in a circle and he said, how will you know which is number 8? Just depends where you start from. So you're not going to know which is the 8th child. And then Kamsa puts Vasudeva and Devaki in jail. Yeah. And then one cheeky Balvihar kid asked, but if he really didn't want any children, he should have put them in separate cells, right? Like, this is not a hard problem to solve. In Kali Yuga, that would have worked. In Kali Yuga, we need physical contact to procreate. But Devaki and Vasudeva, even though they were living in Treta Yuga, their minds were as clean as Satyuga. They did not need physical contact to procreate. Sankalpa in Vasudeva Maharaj alone was enough. So they were in separate cells. And she conceived from Sankalpa. Oh, why would he do such a thing when he knows they're in jail and Kamsa wants to kill all the babies? Karma had to be finished. Until our karma is not finished, he is going to stay here tormenting people slowly. And this also you see, Vasudeva Maharaj and Devaki Maya's ability to withstand pain for the greater good. We'll endure so that the greater outcome, the world is blessed. That ability to endure pain comes from tapas. And so they were able to endure it, because losing one kid only is shattering. Yeah. And they watched six children be killed in front of their eyes in such a horribly violent way. You can imagine how their heart broke every single time. And look at their strength. Why? So Krishna can come. Whatever I have to endure for Krishna to come, I will endure. Their tapas was then and there only, in this life only, as Devaki and Vasudeva. Look how much they proving that only Krishna matters. And once he comes, everything else will be fine. Because when Krishna's there, everything's there. And when Krishna's not, nothing's there. And so, 7th child was born and miraculously disappeared from Devaki's womb. And this made Kamsa very nervous. She was pregnant. Where did it go? Because it can't be anything good for Kansa for the baby to disappear. Where did it go? To Mother Rohini, who was sitting very comfortably in the palace. And she gives birth to Balram, who is none other than Sheshnag, who this life wanted to be older brother. Because as Lakshman, he was younger brother, and every time Ramchandra ji said something, he had to listen. Because Ramayana was about following Dharma, and younger brother has to listen to older brother is Dharma, and so he had to listen, and he decided, I don't want to listen anymore. And so in this avatar, he comes as older brother, and he's not at all glorious. Because when we think we want to be better than Bhagavan, we cannot be glorious. Balram's character does not shine the way Lakshman's character shines. Lakshman's character shines because he served, he loved, he obeyed. Balram's character deteriorates. It's better to keep Bhagavan above, always. Always, always. Stay dasa. Doesn't matter how old we are, doesn't matter how old Bhagavan is, he is Bhagavan. Above. And then Devaki started to shine. They were in the prison where it was dark. But when Kamsa went to go visit the prison was bright. Because Devaki was physically shining. Now if Kamsa got nervous that the seventh child disappeared, Devaki shining is not a good sign for Kamsa. But literally the prison was bright because this eighth child in her womb was never ever going to have a physical human body. Because in a physical human body, maximum manifestation will be 8 colors. Krishna manifested 16 colors. And so he cannot have physical flesh body. Krishna's body is made up only of energy. And so Krishna never got old or sick or even hurt because it wasn't a physical body. It appeared to be like a physical body. And that's why Santa Mahatma saw it as blue, because it wasn't a physical body. I mean, if he was a physical body and he was blue, then, he looks unwell. But he didn't have flesh and bones the way we have flesh and bones. He only appeared to be having it the way we are. And so since she's conceived and it's not going to be a physical body of flesh and bones, she shone. Because the body he was going to take was made up of subtle, not gross. And so Kamsa became the bhakta that remembers God out of fear. Ravana attained mukti because he remembered Bhagavan out of hate. Yeah? Hiranyakashipu attains Bhagavan and he remembers Bhagavan out of anger. Doesn't matter what makes you remember him. If you remember him, you attain him. Whether it's out of anger like Hiranyakashipu, hate like Ravana, or fear like Kamsa. Kamsa, his own hair, if it touched him, he'd jerk up. A child is born. Or if the wind blew and a door slammed, a child is born. Anything that would normally scare us, when we in that state of being fearful, he would jump and say, a child is born. And so he was single-pointedly meditating on Krishna out of fear. To be killed by Krishna, you have to do tapas. You have to remember him. And he remembered Bhagwan out of fear. Doesn't matter what you're feeling. I'm not even telling you to be loving. Just whatever you're feeling, just feel it for Bhagwan is the theme given to us in Bhagavad. If you're feeling fear, fear Bhagwan. Feeling angry, get angry with Bhagwan. You hate everybody because they're so annoying. No, don't hate everybody. Hate only Bhagwan. But best is if you love him. Because when we love, we feel full, joyful, protected, nourished, strong. So, 9 months pass fairly quickly with Devaki shining, and they also both know that Bhagwan is coming soon. And Bhagwan's very compassionate. In Ram Avatar, he came during the day, so here he waited for night. And before Bhagwan came, because he was coming in full avatar, all the Devis and Devatas in the heaven, anyway, that's their job. They collected, ready to throw flowers. But all the Devis and Devatas are in charge of different things. And so they decided to get the whole world ready to receive Bhagwan. And so the first thing is all the flowers bloomed. And then the breeze blew softly to carry the fragrance of those flowers. And then the river Yamuna, thinking Bhagwan is coming, started skipping and creating a melody with the way she is flowing, so that it would be joyful when Krishna is born. And in the sky, the stars started twinkling even brighter, so that the night sky would welcome Krishna with its sparkle. And most of all, Mother Devaki's heart was beating with anticipation, because exactly at the stroke of midnight, Bhagwan appeared. Boliye Shri Krishna Kanhaiya Lal ki Jai. With all of nature welcoming him, with all of nature as though saying, Swagatam Krishna. Swagatam Krishna, Sharanagatam Krishna, Swagatam Krishna, Sharanagatam Krishna, Swagatam Swagatam, Sharanagatam Krishna, Swagatam Swagatam, Sharanagatam Krishna, Swagatam Krishna, Krishna is already here in every millimeter of space, in all things living and non-living. He is the very consciousness that pervades all of us, and He is the very Sat, the existence that is this creation itself. It's Him alone that becomes all things, and so Krishna is already here. But He manifests for the bhaktas to be able to see Him. And on that night, He manifests to Devaki and Vasudeva in His Chaturbhuja form, with Shankha Chakra, Kada Padma, as Bhagwan Vishnu, so that they know their boon is fulfilled and He indeed has come as their son, but also because they were instruments. They were right instruments for Him to come through, but they weren't the instruments that were going to enjoy His leelas. So to bless them and to free them from all the sorrow they had to face to get to this point. The minute they see Him, all sorrows gone. And even the sorrow of not being with Him to watch His leelas, gone. Sometimes Kathakars will say Devaki cried that she didn't get to see Krishna grow up. But Bhagwan's far too compassionate. He wouldn't let a bhakta cry. Not after they've done so much tapas, not after they've made themselves as equipments for Him to be able to play His leela. She felt and experienced all the joy of having Him as her son in those few moments alone, and strengthened to be able to face all the years that she does have to face. But when He gives instructions to say he has to go, chains are freed, the prison cells open, and Vasudeva takes this little baby Krishna in a basket, carrying him on his head out of the jail while everybody slept peacefully. And Krishna's manifested and everybody's sleeping. Such a shame, no? That's what he's also thinking. I'm right here. How come you can't see me? And when he gets to the river Yamuna, the river Yamuna parts. In Bhagavatam, she parts. For she is a bhakta, and she will not create obstacles on Bhagwan's path. But some Kathakars say she wanted to touch his feet. Mm-hmm. Actually, River Yamuna gets so many chances because he sits on her banks playing his flute so often through his leela. She provides no obstacle, she parts. And Vasudeva carries him to Gokul when Nanda Baba is waiting because it's raining. He's waiting with umbrella. He doesn't need umbrella because Sheshnag is protecting. Now with AI, some very cool images you see of this, huh? And wow, they make Vasudev look quite robust. I mean, for him sitting in the jail, he's worked out properly. I don't know what these artists are thinking when they feed into the AI what Vasudev ji should look like. But very often that baby Krishna they put in the basket is adorably cute. And Sheshnag protecting him as he walks to Gokul. And Mother Yashoda is exhausted. Actually, one of our youngsters just delivered today. She called from the hospital and truly she looked exhausted. And she's like, I lasted till day 4. He came. So natural that they be exhausted. But not natural that she doesn't check. Is it a boy or a girl? 10 toes, 10 fingers. Is he okay? But Krishna didn't want Mother Yashoda to know anything. She should just be happy. No tapas for Mother Yashoda. And so she fell asleep, not knowing she had a baby girl. And that adorably cute baby girl was wide awake, fully alert, waiting for Vasudev to come. Vasudev swapped the babies. And takes this little girl back to Kamsa. Even his heart is feeling. But Krishna gave instructions. So instructions have to be followed. This baby has to be taken back. And she is so quiet. So not a sound comes from her. And they go back into the jail and the gates close. Because she is Adi Parashakti, Maya. Gates will close. Shackles will come. She can free also. She can bind also. And just when she's back in the cell and Devaki Maya has picked her up to think, oh my gosh, she's so adorable, she cries loud. So that all the guards wake up and even Kamsa in the palace wakes up hearing the baby crying, thinking the child is born. Doesn't even remember to put his dhoti on, he just runs, opens the cell, grabs the baby, and Devaki Maya is screaming, wait, it's a girl! And for a second he gets confused. How dare he? A child could have been a girl. And in that second when he hesitates, she flies up into the sky. An echo of the past. Kamsa, you fool. If nothing else, we have established that Kamsa is a child is already born. And I would have killed you myself. But you touched my feet. So I will leave it for Sri Krishna. The glory of Bhagavan's feet. One good thing Kamsa did. Touched her feet. In Gokul, the sun rose and Maya Yashoda finally opened her eyes. And then she thought, is it a boy? It's a boy! It is said when Ramchandraji was born, the sun didn't move for a whole month because the sun wanted to watch the celebration of Ramchandraji being born. So we'll wait one day. And let Gokul rejoice in Krishna's birth. Sarve bhavantu sukhinaha, sarve santu niramaya, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kaschit dukkha bhavet, asato ma satkamaya, tamaso ma jyotirgamaya, mrityorma amritam gamaya. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.